Hello all my friends and everybody who sees this video. As you are all aware of the current situation between Azerbaijan and Armenia, with this video I would like to share some unbiased information about Nagorno Karabakh conflict and what's happening right now over there. But before starting, I would like to state that I'm a big believer of the principles of the pacifist ideology, and I truly believe that people from different cultural, ethnic and religious backgrounds can live together with peace, love and respect, and all the international disputes should be resolved peacefully. So the information I am sharing here does not constitute my personal beliefs and judgments, and it can easily be found in the internet, and those are all the international approved facts. First of all, it should be understood that Nagorno Karabakh is not a disputed territory. This territory is officially and historically recognized as the territory of Azerbaijan by the whole world. Even the name Karabakh is an Azerbaijani name. Kara means black and Bagh means garden. So now the war is happening in the occupied territory of Azerbaijan, not in Armenia. Therefore, even the allies of the Armenia do not want to help Armenia in such case. I also want to clarify that during this war in 1988 and 1994, Armenian troops not only occupied Nagorno Karabakh but also 7 districts of Azerbaijan around Nagorno Karabakh, which constitutes 20% of Azerbaijan land in total. Besides this occupation, Armenian ethnic armed forces committed Khojaly massacre, where 613 people, including 106 women and 63 children, killed brutally. This is the key point, that Khojaly massacre was not just confirmed and documented by Azerbaijani side, but also confirmed and documented by Memorial Human Rights Center, Human Rights Watch, and many other neutral international observers. It's also the fact that as a result of this war, more than 1 million Azerbaijani people have lost everything they have, and they were expelled to leave their homeland. And they are still waiting to get back their home one day. So I wanted to add those pictures and footage from the Khojaly massacre, but because it's very horrible and disturbing to watch them, I'm gonna link them below in the comment. So if you are curious, you can have a look. 2 months ago, Prime Minister of Armenia Nikol Pashinyan gave an interview to BBC HARDtalk regarding this Nagorno Karabakh conflict. During the interview, a reporter asked him if he is sorry for the Khojaly massacre done by ethnic Armenian armed forces, but he refused to answer the question with a direct way, and he evaded to say sorry. He tried to justify inhuman activities of the Armenian armed forces by saying that tragedies can always happen during the war. Just to show you the answer, I'm gonna share the fragment from the interview, and I will kindly ask you to watch this part as well.
And you really are different from your predecessors. Are you now prepared to say that in the past, particularly in the early 1990s and late 1980s, the Armenian forces committed some major human rights abuses, crimes of war, inside Nagorno Karabakh? Many independent observers have catalogued those crimes. Are you now prepared to acknowledge them and say sorry for them?
Any war is a chain of tragedies. That's why we're saying that let's refuse any possibility of using force for solution of Nagorno Karabakh conflict.
Whether you're prepared to take responsibility and apologize for those abuses and crimes committed by Armenia's forces. It's quite simple, yes or no.
It should be proved who exercised these atrocities, and I think Armenians of Nagorno Karabakh and Azerbaijan are victims, and we can prove that. Anywhere, anytime.
Clearly, you're not going to say sorry. And
BBC reporter Stefan Sakur also mentioned the UN General Assembly resolutions, which quite clearly demands immediate, unconditional and complete withdrawal of all Armenian forces from the occupied territory of Republic of Azerbaijan. So I wanted to add that part of the interview as well.
is address the realities of today. The UN General Assembly, as you
The
well know,
reality is
hang on. The UN General Assembly has adopted a resolution which quite clearly, quote, demands the immediate, complete, unconditional withdrawal of all Armenian forces from the occupied territories of the Republic of Azerbaijan. Now that's from the UN General Assembly. Under international law, your forces are a force of occupation. You choose to go there and talk about that territory being yours. You clearly are not a peacemaker.
But there is that it should belong to Azerbaijan.
Inch?
It is in the resolution that it belongs to Azerbaijan. Let's be clear about that.
As I mentioned, 4 United Nations Security Council resolutions 822, 853, 874 and 884 were passed during the Nagorno Karabakh conflict. Those resolutions have not been invoked and the UN Security Council has not enforced the implementation of those resolutions. As you can see, those are the resolutions made by United Nations, and I am going to add the link of those resolutions below in the comments so you can check it out if you want. This should also be clear that Azerbaijan could liberate its occupied territories during these 30 years because of its numerical and qualitative superiority of the army, but with the ceasefire agreement in 1994, the parties pledged to solve the conflict peacefully with the help of mediators. Since 1994, Azerbaijan government has repeatedly said that we are ready for a peaceful solution of the conflict with no war. But with Nikol Pashinyan, the negotiation process has completely frozen as his statement contradicted the peaceful settlement of the conflict. So the last straw for Azerbaijan government was the shelling of Azerbaijani civilians on the front line on September 27, 2020. The war is currently happening in Nagorno Karabakh and Azerbaijani forces already started to liberate its own occupied territories. Armenian government asks for peace and tries to involve all the European countries, United States, Iran and Russia to force Azerbaijan to stop military counterattacks. But Armenian government doesn't want to leave those occupied territories. Another very important fact is Armenian government asks for peace, but at the same time they are launching missile attacks to 3 largest cities of Azerbaijan, which are 100 to 300 kilometers away from the front line. Those missile attacks are causing many civilian deaths, which are war crimes. Those missile attacks are not just confirmed and reported by Azerbaijan TV channels, but also reported by very famous European TV channels like France 24, Sky News, also Al Jazeera, and by many Turkish, Georgian and Central Asian TV channels and many more. So here I want to share a fragment from France 24 reporting missile attacks.
On the Azerbaijani side of the conflict have witnessed firsthand how rockets have been hitting towns along the front line and indeed further afield. We can cross now over to speak to Catherine Norris-Trent. Catherine, where exactly are you as things stand and what have you seen?
Eve, I'm in the city of Mingechevir, which is in the north of Azerbaijan and around 100 kilometers away from the front line of fighting in this conflict. But nonetheless, despite being that distance away, it has been struck by rocket fire. Authorities brought us here. We are, of course, working under the watch of an official minder. We were brought here to see the damage inflicted by a rocket which landed slap bang in the middle of the grounds of an electricity plant, a huge hydroelectric power plant here in this city, which the government tells us powers more than 40 cities and districts across Azerbaijan. And they said that if that rocket had exploded instead of misfunctioning, it would have caused a huge disaster.
So now Azerbaijani people and also the government of Azerbaijan do not ask from Armenian civilian people to leave those occupied territories. In fact, Azerbaijani government refers to Armenian people who lives in Nagorno-Karabakh as the citizens of Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is a multinational country with many minority groups, and all those minority groups live with peace, love and respect, and there is not even a little discrimination in Azerbaijan. So here is another fact that in Azerbaijan there are at least 40,000 official listed Armenians living as a rightful citizens of Azerbaijan. So this also proves that after the liberation of those occupied territories, Armenians who was living in Nagorno-Karabakh area can live together with those of people who have been forced to escape their homelands. So again, I do not want war, but I truly believe that the peace should be established with a fair way, not like the one which was made in 1994. So I really hope that Armenian government and Azerbaijani government will come to an agreement and solve this conflict, and those two nations will build a constructive relationships again. Thanks for watching. Peace.